Good evening and welcome to the December 18th, 2023 meeting of the Coeur d'Alene Parks and Recreation Commission. This will be our last meeting of the year, so welcome. Melissa, would you get us started with roll call, please?
Commissioner Cranston?
Here.
Commissioner McDowell?
Here.
Commissioner Lean?
Here.
Commissioner Tate? Commissioner Hill? Commissioner Bakes?
Here.
Commissioner Wood? Commissioner Voorhees?
Here.
Thank you, Melissa. Tyler, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight? Have everybody stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do any of the commissioners tonight have a conflict of interest with any of the agenda items? Okay. That brings us to our one and only action item tonight is approval of the November 20th, 2023 meeting minutes. And I just want to make a note that the agenda item 4, instead of September 18th, 2003, should read November 20th, 2003. Everybody had a chance to
Yep. I'd
review
make
the
a
minutes?
motion for the approval as prepared.
I move to pass the minutes as amended.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You want to give the floor to Commissioner Bakes for
Well,
the motion, or?
Technically, we're not amending the minutes, we're amending the
Excuse
agenda.
me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, why don't you give it another shot, Mike?
Once again, I would make a motion to approve the minutes as prepared.
There's a second.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner McDowell and seconded by Commissioner Bakes to approve the November 20th, 2023 meeting minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Bill, do you have a staff report tonight?
Yes, I can catch you up on a few things. On the rec side, men's basketball is currently running through, I think it's the end of January. We are having registration for kindergarten, first and second grade started last week, and that registration ends January 3rd, and that will start later that month. On the building side, Mr. Koritko is very busy overseeing some repairs to the roof at City Hall, and he's helping also with some oversight of the street department remodel. And in January, he worked with Avista to get a rebate to convert some of the lighting here at the library to LED. So he got a great deal on that, and the savings payback will pay for itself. So kudos to Mr. Koritko for doing that. The park side, we're busy doing winter work. We'd had a couple of snow days. Monty was in on some of that, and we're got some bleachers in that we're refurbishing. We bought a mill a while back. I don't know if you guys remember me talking about that. We milled off some timber, some wood that came down, and we cut it into dimensional lumber, and we've had a couple of our fabricators create some T-posts. So we've got about 20 benches that we'll be installing in certain parks that are backless. So I'm thinking we're going to put some here at McEwen and some at Atlas. But it's nice that our team had actually fabricated the metal components, and we're cutting those, that wood, some maple and some pine. And I asked too that some of those, let's not cut them dimensionally, in that let's keep them a live edge. So maybe we'll have some live edge benches out there rather than everything being all straight and narrow like you might get over at Lowe's. And let's see, and that's about all I got for you on the work that we're doing outside, other than just staying busy. We still got work that we can do when the snow's gone. I guess the guys are still pricking up leaves, and it's been rather a mild winter so far.
I know you've been kind of reporting at our meetings, kind of updates on kind of the ongoing vandalism issues in our parks facilities.
It's still ongoing. We had a circumstance here along the seawall on Saturday at City Park, and then down along NIC, between NIC and the wastewater, that Monty and his team took care of. So it's always an ongoing thing, but we're pretty quick about as soon as we see it and we know about it, we take care of it really quickly.
Great.
Yep.
Any questions for Bill? Thank you, Bill.
Oh, excuse me, one thing, just so you know, Tyler Davis is up and running, so he's going to have another concert series next year.
Okay,
Just
great.
as an FYI, he and I have been talking through this fall and winter, and he's going to go ahead and have another season next year.
Great.
Okay.
That live
Live
after
at 5, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Do any of the commissioners have any comments or announcements tonight?
I'd like to make a comment.
Jim?
I've been trying to walk a lot, and I've been mainly walking downtown, around the streets, and I just want to compliment the city seems to do the best job of just about anybody in clearing off the sidewalks in their property, and so just thanks.
Thanks. I think, the kudos to the street department. They do a great job on our streets. The amount of sidewalks, trails, and parking lots that we take care of at all the city campuses is significant. Yeah, so appreciate that.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, given that we don't have any public visiting us tonight, I think we can go ahead and skip the public comments portion and move on to a presentation tonight, I believe, by Monty McCulley regarding the Centennial Trail RDP grant partnership.
Well,
Unless you wanna-
my apologies. I should have had Monty jump in here right after me on staff comments on this item here. This is about trail counter of the number of people that we're seeing on Tubbs Hill. That other one will come after this, so I apologize.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is just a quick update. I'd sent this to the Tubbs Hill Foundation for their end of the year meeting, and Bill thought it'd be a good idea to inform you guys. So we got EcoVision counter July 2022, and so this July was the first full year that we had counts on Tubbs Hill. So I have the numbers for that. And then I also did counts from just the summer of 2022 and the summer of 2023 to give you some comparisons. So it might be kind of hard to see. You can see that it looks like a heart monitor throughout the year, the use daily on the trail. Of course, you can see the busiest day of the year, July 4th. And that day we got 6,226 people on Tubbs Hill alone. And so our Tubbs Hill count for the entire year was 364,259 people. Daily average 998. And the summer daily average was 2,086 per day. And so the summer to summer, so this is 2022. And you can see the total for the summer is 103,000. Daily is 19, which is a little bit different than the daily average of the whole year. And the peak day was, this did not include 4th of July. This was like July 28th or something. Probably Taste of the Coeur d'Alene's 3,643. And then in 2023, you can see our numbers dipped a little bit. So I think we were still getting some COVID numbers on 2022, still had more people coming from out of state. So you can see the year total, or the summer here was 91,000 as opposed to 103 from 2022. And the daily average went from 1,900 to 1,600. And the peak day was 31 instead of 36. So numbers went down a little bit this year, but these numbers were all real eye-openers to me. I mean, I knew we had a lot of traffic, but I did not think that we had 364,000 in 1 year.
How you've been able to keep up with trail maintenance on Tubbs?
Well, we have a few things going on. Nick Goodwin, the urban forester, and Tyler Long, who is our maintenance worker that works for both of us, and we all formed a team now, the Trails and Trees, we call it. So we have a team of city employees, 3 of us, that go out and do a lot of different projects on natural areas, trails, and street trees. But we also have the Tubbs Hill Foundation with a great group of volunteers, and they have a big network of people that come in for projects, and they're on the hill every day hiking and looking at things and picking up trash and removing branches and trees. They get to it before we can most of the time. And they'll notice things, patterns of where people walk, better places to put trails, and they'll come and organize. Like I think last year we had 9 different trail cleanups and projects where we actually rebuilt new trails and fixed things. And so we have a pretty good resource in the Tubbs Hill Foundation.
Okay, thank you, Monty.
$364,000. I think it was this last year. Because I just had it for the full year.
Okay, Monty, now this is the Centennial Trail Grant Partnership.
Yes, and I'm here to introduce Brian Myers. He's the Parks Manager for the City of Post Falls, and he will actually be heading this grant up. We take turns when it comes to RTP grants, and I'll let him take it from here.
Great.
Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity to present this project to you folks. Again, I'm Brian Myers with the City of Post Falls, Parks Manager there. And I've had the pleasure of working with Monty for a little over 13 years now on the Centennial Trail. The Joint Powers Maintenance Committee is a group that involves the City of Coeur d'Alene, City of Post Falls, Kootenai County Parks and Waterways, and the North Idaho Centennial Trail Foundation. They also have a member that sits on that maintenance committee. And we're tasked with identifying projects system-wide. So the entire trail from state line to Independence Point. And those maintenance projects over the years have included our annual, or every 5-year seal coat and crack fill project. Typically that grant cycle project is headed up by Monty, and he's been successful in writing that grant and executing that grant a number of times in my 13-year tenure. Other recent projects were the State Line Bridge lighting project that was headed up by Nick Schneider with the county. And then we recently did a reconstruction project on the bridge abutments at Hutter Road that Post Falls headed up that. Those projects don't necessarily have to fall within the individual jurisdiction. You know, the seal coat project is multi-jurisdictional and it lands in one agency, and then wherever that project is funded through, the Joint Powers Fund reimburses. Currently, that fund is funded at $15,000 a year by those 3 partner agencies. The county holds those funds and then uses that for match on projects such as this. Current project is to replace the existing trail. That trail is nearing 30 years old now, or over 30 years old. So we're looking at replacing the initial phases of that is going from State Line to Pleasant View. There'll be one small little section nearby where the Beck Road interchange went in, that trail was reconstructed at the time of that bridge construction. So that section will not need to be repaved at this time. That results in just about 6,100 linear feet of trail, 12-foot wide trail. And we're looking at a total project cost of $450,000 to pulverize the trail in place, compact that as base material, add an additional 4 inches of 3/4 inch minus rock, and then a 2-inch asphalt paving system. So that'll match what our existing pavement section is system-wide. And then replace that gravel shoulder so that we can have ongoing maintenance of the facility. One of the scoring items on the grant that we're pursuing a recreational trails program grant that's administered through Idaho's state parks. And one of the scoring items is public outreach. So that's one of the big reasons that we're here before you folks tonight, is a public comment opportunity for folks to weigh in, and then also to request letters of support for the effort. Our grant application is due the last week of January. So I'll be assembling that grant up until that point. So any letters that the community wishes to add, we're going to add this to Facebook too. So Facebook, both here and with the city of Post Falls and Kootenai County will be before public meetings like this in those locations. Any of those comments will include in the grant application up until the time the application's submitted. So with that, I'd stand for any questions that you might have on the project or how we operate the trail in general. And
Questions for
I would
Brian?
also add a couple things. So the trail started being built over 30 years ago, and it was built over a long period of time. So the oldest sections are the worst, and so we're trying to get those first, and then eventually we're going to try to replace the whole trail, but we got to take it in small chunks because there's just not enough funding and grants out there to do the whole thing at once. And I don't know if you guys have ever been out there, but there's 3-inch gaps across the trail that are getting to the point where it's pretty bumpy to try to ride your bike out there. So it's getting time to, a seal coat and crack seal wouldn't cover it this time around. So we need to start thinking about replacing it.
What are some of the other projects coming up on the long-range plan for the trail?
Well, we need to rebuild the abutments on the Atlas Bridge, just like Post Falls did on Hutter last year. We have some stuff failing out there that we need to fix. There is painting a lot of the railings on the bridges.
on the retaining walls, so
Retaining
between
walls.
Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene, the retaining walls there's some barricades that are along the side of the trail that will need some repaint, and there's some settling issues around some of those retaining walls as well that will need to be addressed. We've kind of decided to put that on hold until we know exactly what's happening with the I-90 widening project, because some of that may be impacted, because some of those retaining walls are nearby culvert systems that the freeway operates, so they could be impacted. We don't necessarily want to throw good dollars at bad that will be constructed with other projects.
Right,
But we know
and-
Atlas is not going to be impacted by the widening project, so that one will be one that
Right.
we move forward. And then we
And-
have our annual, or our 5-year cycle of seal coat maintenance. that'll
Yeah, we'll
happen.
still be doing that. And I believe that, mile marker 10 or 11, by the time you get to Coeur d'Alene, the trail is not in that bad a shape because we recently redid the worst section over behind Honda. The other section that's bad is on Celtice going to the trailhead, but that's going to be replaced with the widening. And all the rest of it's pretty new. And once you get out of town on the state section, that'll probably eventually have to start being replaced as well. But so we're looking at 10 years now, or 10 miles now, and this is taking 2-mile chunk out of it. So
Okay. Mike?
Yeah. How long till you find out whether or not the grant's been approved?
We typically find out in May,
Okay.
and we'll aim to have it constructed in late September, October.
Sure.
So, by the time we go through bid cycles and that sort of thing, we'll aim to still get it done in that October window before it starts to cool down and asphalt's not reliable.
Jim?
What's generally the breakdown on the grant versus how much we have to pay versus how much the grant covers?
So we're looking at a $390 or $390,000 coming from grant sources and $60,000 coming from the Joint Powers Fund on this particular grant.
Good leverage.
We're slightly above the minimum required match on this project.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else for Brian or Monty?
Great resource. Thanks for,
No.
Brian, thank
I
you
also
for
wanna
joining
thank
us tonight.
Brian.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
I also want to thank Brian because he really stepped up. We got a little bit of a late start. When they announced it in October, the end of October, you usually have to scramble from November on to get it in time. And he just took it on here about a month late, and he's already got his feet under him and taking care of it. So thank you.
Great.
thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good work.
Welcome to Coeur d'Alene.
Okay. Anybody have anything else here before we start moving towards adjournment tonight?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll make one last announcement here, is our next scheduled meeting will be January 22nd, 2024, right here in the library community room. Everybody have a wonderful holiday coming up here, and with that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Okay.
So moved.
Second, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Lee and seconded by Commissioner McDowell to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays.
All right.